everyone, we are back here at Ongobegun. In today's class, we will be studying report writing. For report writings, we know that in our exams, we actually have a lot of marks. So definitely from the grammar parts, there is 5 marks for each of these parts. But whenever we come to the written part, we have far more freedom to write as per our wish. But at the same time, there are some tips and tricks that you must remember while you are writing a report. So this is why I am here to help you learn the basic fundamentals of what a report should contain. But at the end of the day, remember that everything that we are going to learn in our freehand writing sessions, all of these are depending on your creativity. Yes, I do teach you a few shortcut methods here and there, along with some phrases that you can learn for your better understanding. But remember that at the end of the day, everything that you write on your copy is actually dependent on your absolute freedom. So you have absolutely the most amount of freedom to make sure that your thoughts are expressed in written form in order for you to get a very good result. So without any further ado, let's see what do we need to write and what do we need to remember while we are writing a report. Now, as you can see here, what is report writing actually about? So its definition is that it's creating an account or a statement that describes in detail an event, situation or occurrence. So basically what happens is, whatever that had already happened, you need to make sure that you write or you provide a depiction of the things that were already present there, and then you put your thoughts into paper. So no, you cannot write anything that you wish. You cannot make up your own story in a report. What actually happens is, you must write the factual statements or everything that you see with evidence into your words. You cannot provide your own opinion into everything. We know in newspapers or even in TV, whenever we watch news, we see there are plenty of reporters who stand in front of places to which they need to write a report about. And can they make anything up about it? No. Even if they feel strongly about anything, they can never express their own emotions while they are writing a report or while they are saying a report, right? I mean, while they are commenting on it on TV. So what you need to remember while writing a report is, unlike a story writing or an essay or a letter, you cannot make things up on your own. You must make sure that whatever information that you give is factual. You cannot actually divert from the main topic, okay? So you need to describe in detail. You have to make sure that everything that you write on paper is very detailed and oriented towards whatever has actually happened in the event, in the situation or in the occurrence. But if you make things up, in that case, of course, it won't be true, right? Usually as a result of an observation or an inquiry. Observation means something that you see, something that appears right in front of your eyes. And inquiry means anything that you ask. Right? So generally, for example, let me just give you a random example like the Rana Plaza incident that happened here in Bangladesh. We know the Rana Plaza was a very famous building, or it's like it was a factory, it was a garments factory, and apparently it got collapsed due to huge amounts of machinery and other sources being put on it, and regardless of the fact that the owner knew that there was going to be a huge damage or there was chances of a huge damage, did he do anything? No, he did not take measures. He did not take appropriate measures to fix it. Now, let's say I told you to write a report on this Rana Plaza incident. If you made things up, if you said that the Rana Plaza caught on fire, yes, probably grammatically you are totally correct. Maybe you have used a lot of different expressions, good vocabulary usage and whatnot. But at the end of the day, were your facts correct? No, you made that up, right? So that is what I'm trying to say, that whenever you write a report, you cannot say that I felt like the entire situation was very dramatic. No, you cannot express your own emotions. You have to say it like it is. And make sure that you, of course, do not put anything that is your own emotions, or do not make things up from your own imaginations. Okay. So, the two most common forms of report writing are news report writing and academic report writing. Of course, you may be wondering, because we are not news reporters here, we are writing, of course, for academic purpose, because we know that our copies are going to be checked at the end of the day. Then why are we doing this in the first place? Why are we learning news report here in the first place? Because at the end of the day, of course, the types of report that is being taught to you at school or is being taught here right now in class are going to help you in the long run. Everything that you learn, I'll say majority of the things that you learn here in your HSC curriculum are there to support you and help you in the long run. They're not just there for the sake of your learning and for the sake of getting an A+, right? Of course, it's not just there to make sure that your results are good, but of course to enlighten yourself, to get that knowledge, get that proper knowledge, and so that in the future you can actually put your actions into proper usage. So yeah, this is why we of course are going to read and learn both of these types. Report writing is very different from any other forms of writing because it only includes facts and not the opinion or judgment of the writer. So this is another thing that you see here. It's being explicitly mentioned here that it not only includes facts and it only has included the facts, but you cannot put your opinion or judgment. And I've explained it already, and I'll say moreover later on. So we see here there are two types of report writing, as I've already mentioned. One is news reports and the other one is academic reports. Initially we see in number one, in news reporting, it typically involves writing about what, when, where and why an event happened. I will not just stick to these 4 W's. I will not just say what, when, where, why. I'll say all of the WH questions that we have learned so far. If we put those WH questions, if we ask the reader or the writer or the person who has seen the event, if we ask that person all these different WH questions, the answers that we will get are actually the main parts in your report writing. Okay, so of course, if you are given a topic to write on, you may at first be shocked or confused as to how to start or what to write, right? So in that case, my main tip for you is ask yourself the WH questions. What are the WH questions? Why, what, when, where, which, whom, and of course, how. So all of these questions are your answers. You might write your answers in the form of your report. So, for any particular event, take an event into your head and then slowly ask yourself all these questions. The answer that you will get will be the parts of your report writing. The foundation of any news report is facts. However, eyewitness accounts and interviews with experts are often added to strengthen the story and provide more details. So, what did we do here? In a news report, yes, we will of course answer all of these WH questions, but then at the end of the day, it seems more or less like an essay. If I tell you to write an essay on, let's say, on Bengali New Year, which is Pohela Boishakh. So if I tell you to write a report on Pohela Boishakh or an essay on Pohela Boishakh, more or less they will be almost the same. Unless you want to write a narrative essay, not that. I'm trying to say if you write a general essay on Pohela Boishakh or a descriptive one where you're going to write all of these WH questions answers. Similarly, in a report, the same thing is happening. But my question is, then what is the difference between them? The main difference lies in this, that here there will be many eyewitness accounts and also interviews. So let's say after you went to a Pohela Boishakh fair, if you asked the people how they were feeling that day, and then if you write those dialogues in your reports with inverted commas, opened and closed, as we already know the format for direct speeches. So if you put those direct speeches in the form of dialogues directly into your report writing, in that case, it does not become an essay anymore. Similarly, whenever there is a problem or a situation where there has been some damage or something of that sort, in that case, you need to go and ask to those people who were eyewitnesses. As in that because you were currently in that particular event, can you tell me what had actually happened? So in that case, of course, they will give their own verdicts, right? So you will record their verdicts in that way, and that is how you will get more information from their own perspective. So in news report, we see that first of all, we need to ask the WH questions. Then we need to provide some accounts of the eyewitness accounts and the interviews with experts. Now another question arises. While we are writing our report for our HSC exams, is it possible to actually go there in person and ask those people? Of course not. So therefore, I'll say that for your HSC exams, we have to make just this part on our own, because it's of course not possible for you to physically go somewhere and take interviews, right? But in the long run, later on, when we will actually become news reporters ourselves, maybe one day, in that case, you actually have to go there physically, and that is how you will do it. Alright? So we see later on that news report writing is usually organized with the most relevant information at the beginning and supporting details or background information at the end of the report. So unlike other essays where right in the beginning, what do? We define what has happened, we provide a few small anecdotes, we provide a few linguistic expressions, and later on in the body paragraph, we start explaining. But no, in a news report, in the very beginning, you're going to go straight to the point. You're going to go straight and say, these are how many people who have died, how many people who have survived. For example, if you are asked to write a news report on the COVID death cases in Bangladesh on the 25th of August, let's say. So in that case, what should you do? You should just make sure that the headline or in the very introduction, it says that these many people have died, these many people were injured, or these many people have been hospitalized, and these were the amount of people who were vaccinated today. So just go straight to the point without the use of any stylistic expressions like similes, metaphors, and so on. Okay. Now, in the second point, what do we see? The second type of news reports, it's not news reports, it's academic reports. So here we see academic report writing, it focuses on summarizing the process of conducting the research. So basically, they will tell you to, of course, write a story or write an account of what had happened. But unlike a news report, can you provide huge amounts of information there? No, it's absolutely not possible. So here in academic writing, because it is assumed that you are students in this case, so they will definitely want you to summarize the entire thing. They do not ask facts from you, because in your HSC exam, while you are sitting during the exam, is it possible for you to conduct any research? No, but you need to have the minimal knowledge about the particular topic that you're writing about, or else it's of course not possible, right? So a news report is just the basic facts of a story that is currently happening or that just happened. And while we write a news report, it's easy. If you report on the subject, conduct good interviews, and write in a style that is clear, concise, and active. Now, another thing that you need to remember is your writing style should be clear. What does this mean? This means that you need to go straight to the point and use less by hard words, I mean less big words with too many syllables that actually form jumbles inside your mouth, right? If you want to say beautiful, you'll say beautiful, pretty, cute, something like that. You will not say magnificent, majestic, alright? That is what I mean, because in the report, generally when you write a report, it is assumed that your report is going to be read by the general public, by the mass public. So that your mass public understands all of the words that you have written, you need to make sure that your writing language is very clear. Then I've said that it has to be concise. By concise, I mean that it has to be short and to the point. Do not write extra words, extra phrases, and of course, do not write your own opinions. And finally, active. Make sure that, of course, it will have an introduction, a body, and a conclusion, but it needs to be fast. It needs to be a fast reading, because whenever we read any newspaper or any magazine, whenever we read these reports, we generally do not take our time out to read everything in detail. Whenever you write a story or any descriptive essay, we want to describe the weather, the way you're feeling, the way your hair is moving, the way the trees are dancing, right? In this case, you cannot say either of these. If the trees are dancing, you won't say that. You'll say that there was huge winds. Yeah, you can just say there was huge winds which actually caused the trees to break down, comma, killing thousands of families, comma, injuring millions of families, like, and full stop. Something like this, right? You have to make sure that it's to the point and that it's a very active reading, so that it's like a very quick read without giving much depth to what the writing is about, but rather giving more depth to what you actually wrote, not the words that you chose. Okay, so with many different types of examples, I tried my best to explain the tone of your writing. We will also look at the format now, and we will also look at a few examples now.